Welcome to Magic and Mysticism, the podcast. Starring Tommy Burnett, New York City's favorite mentalist. Where every Friday afternoon he interviews a mystery performer while they discuss the subject of magic and mentalism as an art form. Today's guest is Master Magician Omar Olusion. So please sit back and get comfortable as I introduce your host, Mr. Tommy Burnett.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Magic and Mysticism, the podcast. And today, like every other day, we have a wonderful guest, a very good friend of mine, who I've worked with and collaborated with for many years. Very funny man, very good musician, and also a great DJ and balloon artist. And he works together now with his new bride, Lavinia, and we're going to talk about that. But let's first introduce my good friend, Omar Olusion. Oh!
What up, man?
What up? How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you.
You too, brother. I'm going to see you, tomorrow again?
Yeah. One of the places we work together is Omar's virtual interactive magic theater. And
every Saturday.
Every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you ain't doing anything, check it out. It's a lot of fun.
It is. Tommy goes in, man. He makes sure he taps on everyone. That's what's up. We keep you on, brother. We love you, man. Thank you. And if you guys didn't know, like with all this stuff that I've taken on with the virtual shows, Tommy has even taken some of the work on, and he's been doing the posters for us. So I want to say thank you publicly that you put in extra for the show, man. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. You've been a very big support to me over the years, whether you knew it at the time. I think you know it now, but at the time I'm not sure if you get it now. But I had left Magic for a while, and when we first met, I was coming back into it, and you were a very big support, and I've never forgotten that. So I
would have never known. You never told me that.
I was going away from my deathbed and say, "Oh, come here, come."
I remember. That was at the bistro, right? At the bar.
It was, yeah.
That's going back like at least a good 5-6 years.
Yeah, maybe even 7.
Could be.
Maybe not quite that long. But I think I met you before then. But that was the first time we actually had spoken more than a few words.
Yeah, I think I used to see you at the shop every once in a while, but we never actually got the chance to talk until the bistro.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're talking about Rose Madison Shop, in case you don't know.
That's right.
Almost, which unfortunately is no longer there. But Rogue is, and hopefully I'll have him on the show one day when he isn't so busy. We got a comment here from Jorge, I guess.
Well, George.
Hey, George. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him.
It's Jorge or George, same thing.
I'm sure he's the way it's spelling. He hasn't complained about it, but hey, George.
Love, by the way. Shout out to Xander too. See you tomorrow too.
Yeah, actually, yeah. We have a good lineup tomorrow. If I can pull it up, it was actually Omar, me, George, who goes by Xander, and we got Brandon Williams, and we have a great
Top Magic.
Yeah, me, yeah. The invincible Tommy Burnett. Not invincible, but invincible. And of course, Gary Brax is our MC, and he does a little magic in my reading. puts it in there. And so, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself in case nobody knows who you are? I'm sure day by day, more and more people are getting to know who you are. But
well, I would hope so. That is the end goal of all this, to at least have my name out there for something. But hello, everyone. My name is Omar Olusion. I've been a magician since I was around 14, 15 years old. Professionally, I started at like 16, 17. I've actually been hard into magic since then. I was originally working at a grocery store, did a couple tricks here and there. And a friend of mine once came in. He saw me doing a trick. He was impressed. I knew him since kindergarten. I believe Chris Furland. He was a clown working for another entertainment company. Well, working for an entertainment company before I knew about those things. It was All-in-One Entertainment that I worked for. He brought me in. I did a little interview, and that Saturday I started working doing private parties. They actually it was so bad because I didn't know what to expect. I actually had a bag of tricks, but like a plastic bag with just all my stuff thrown into it. And I didn't know. I showed up to the party. They got everything in pretty bags and everything's all nice and neat. I'm like, oh man. I did maybe 5 tricks, but I brought my whole setup, not knowing, you got to hit it with the right stuff. I then got into the Barney costume, because that's another way they started training me, and that's how I got into the business of entertainment. So magic got me in the door of it, and the rest of it was all like learning how to entertain at birthday parties, learning how to roll with the punches. Like they would set me up in a park, no electricity, but yet I had to do cotton candy. No speaker, but there's like 50 kids. You know what I mean? Like these are the little things that, had I not gotten into that type of environment doing the kids' parties, I would have never known how to adjust the way we did with this and quarantine and, roll with the punches, like I said.
Wow.
But that's how I got into it. But how I really started learning and liking magic itself, the art of sleight of hand, I would say there's 3 different instances. One, my father used to own a video store, so I remember he used to make copies of videos for people when VHS was a thing, magnets and tape and all that good stuff. He recorded a video of David Copperfield, I believe the Orient Express one, where he made the train rise and then disappear. Yeah. That's how I found out about magic in general. I've never seen or heard of magic before that. Like I knew it was a thing, but I'd never seen it at a party, nothing like that. I grew up in my father's video store most of the time, so I didn't really have that meeting of other people and all that good stuff until junior high school. But anyway, that's story 1. That's what got me interested. Story 2, we went to the city. Me, my dad, and Chris, we always used to take walks in different places. And we ran into a place on 42nd Street. I believe it was Magic Max. Do you remember those? Magic Max was kind of like a Phantasma, but it was like a big store in Florida. That was the only one that I knew of up here. Now that I think about it, I wish I would have had the brochure to show you. But yeah, Magic Max was on 42nd Street, Times Square, like right across the street where the Disney store is now.
Oh, okay. So that was later than.
Oh, this was going back like maybe 23, 25 years ago, and even the whole building is gone. They revamped the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Magic Max. We walked in, and a couple guys sitting there, and they were like, "Hey, you want to see a trick?" My father, of course, volunteered, and I'm watching what he's doing with the coin. He's making it jump. He's making it go from hand to hand. Then he's like, "I'll do it in your hands." I was like, "Okay." Then nothing happened. I was like, "That okay, you did all that, and then nothing happened with my father." Then he pulls out my father's watch from his pocket, not my father's pocket. The magician pulled out the watch from his pocket. I was like, "Whoa!" What that? I mean, I didn't know what to do. That was something. How do you take something off of somebody that? How do you not feel that? Then he said, "Oh, you can buy this." Well, I learned that? Yeah. That was the first magic trick that I got that I took home. It was a demo video teaching that and some basic stuff. The ashes. I don't know the actual name of it. The ashes and palm.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the tricks in there. Professor's Nightmare, and I believe floating dollar bill. Those were my first effects, but the one that really got me interested was the watch steal. Because yeah, it's a watch steal. Like it's a dude. That's bad.
Yeah.
Final thing that got me into it was that was one. That was two. Oh, I saw on Canal Street a gentleman doing the 3 shell game.
Okay.
Like I know this sounds like a story that most Christians say, you know what I mean? Like it was a genuine thing. I was walking down Canal Street, going to the art store, Pro Paint, and I saw a group of people just all right, 15, 16 years old. I see a group. I want to see what's going on. They're doing the shell game, and guys winning money. And I'm like, I want to play. I saw one person jump in front of me. He's like, yeah, here's $100. It's right there. Picked it up, $100 gone. I was like, oh, gotta go. Not a game for me. But then later on, I found out that that's a thing you can also buy at a magic shop and learn a skill with that.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 separate instances that finally got me to say, you know what, I want to learn this. So there you go. That was my reasons.
Nice. Do you have any? You mentioned David Copperfield. Do you have any influences growing up?
Funny enough, I didn't even know he was an influence until I thought back on it. Do you know Magic Ballet?
Sure.
Well, everybody knows him from like Tannins and Phantasma. Did he work Phantasma?
Yeah, he did.
He's worked like every shop. So yeah, I remember little bits and pieces of him.
I think he worked there before Tannins.
Yeah, so I think I met him there, and then I kept running into him at all these new places that I was, like, oh, all right. He showed me a couple things. He was very, very helpful. He was always there with information. Don't get this, get this. This one has better quality, all that good stuff. He was always about making sure you got the right stuff for your level. You know what I mean? Something that'll last for you. Another gentleman that got me really into it when I started watching videos. I was never really good at reading the books. I tried ADHD, so I kept reading the same sentence over and over. And after a while, I was like, I couldn't deal with it. Then I found out they had him on videos. Michael Finney was one that stood out.
Yeah.
Amazing gentleman, very funny. I didn't know you can do magic and comedy together. That was a big influence in seeing how fluent he was with it. You know what I mean? I think after getting that video and seeing him on World's Greatest Magic, that was a huge inspiration. Never met him, but I believe George is cool with him. That group of people, I met George actually through I believe New York, New Jersey entertainers on Facebook forum where all the performers meet. He introduced me to a place that I just went to last night, matter of fact, a Chicken Wing Jam. That's like an open mic for musicians.
Yeah.
So I went to try some things out, and Michael Finney being one of them, and the final one, of course, David Copperfield, dude. Like, I really was interested in David Copperfield. Again, when I saw the video from my father, but then I also started going to Tannins more, and oh my God, a gentleman, he passed away. He used to own Tannins, not Louis Tannin. Tony. I haven't thought about him in years.
That was so nice.
He was, dude. He gave me a chance to even work there.
Wow.
How'd you meet him?
I met him at Tannins when they were over on 44th and 42nd. You had to go in the elevator when you got to the floor. It opened up. Right to the door.
Oh, 34th, I think, or 32nd, 36, something like that.
I thought it was 40. Yeah,
26.
Really? Okay. Because I was like 15, 16. Or so.
Oh, you're talking way back then. That might be the old story.
I'm a little bit older than you.
2 years, dude? 3 years? Not that much.
I was going to say a few seconds, but I'll take 3 years. This is like going back like 75, 76. And I don't even remember what floor they were on, but it was my first experience of being in the elevator that opened up into anything. But it was a magic shop, and it was opening the wardrobe in the Lion, the Wizard of Wardrobe, and walking into this magical land. And Tony was in and out of the office.
Mm-hmm.
He told me this. It was a wild card effect, but it was called wild card outdone. Mm-hmm. And so not only the fronts changed, but the backs changed as well. And I was like, what? And I keep looking for that trick, but they don't make it anymore. And mine was like, but yeah, great guy. Yeah.
Tony was the wonderful man. He gave so many people opportunities, and I found out he was one of the reasons David Copperfield started.
Yeah.
So I heard the story, and I was just like mesmerized, and I was like, I want to talk with you. I want to learn more things, and I needed to find out, like, can I meet him? Never got a chance to meet David Copperfield either, but I befriended Tony for not yet. Yeah, right. I befriended Tony maybe a year or two into really getting into it. He had me help out at the shop, kind of test me out a little bit. Then my life kind of took little turns. I couldn't work at the shop, but he did invite me to his house in Jersey when he was moving out of his apartment. He kindly had me pack up his stuff, and he paid me with, oh my God, my one of my most cherished posters, the David Copperfield poster of Statue of Liberty disappearing.
Wow.
When he did that, I found it so like, oh my God, this needed to happen, because that year he did that was 1983. That was the year I was born. So to me, when he gave me that poster, it was like, oh, wow. I used to study at tanning shop, and now it's mine. Like, I never would have put that together. Yeah, whatever. ADHD mind, my bad.
No. I'm glad you brought it up, because in my opinion, that effect was genius.
Yeah.
Like, to the point of, I don't know if you're aware of this, but 3 days in advance, he had, I think it was either the Daily News or the New York Post, had a headline for 2 days that said, will he do it? And then in big black letters, will he do it? And then the day of, or the day after, it said, he did it. And just that alone it blew my mind, because it made me realize how deep this stuff goes,
Yeah.
There's so much psychology and, anyway.
No, dude, like I agree with you 1,000%. I had no idea that, like, learning psychology, learning the way the brain works, and how people view things, and the differences depending on their location or their age, or even just how they were brought up, not in a negative way, just that was a secondary outcome of me learning magic that I didn't even realize. My people skills were up, my ability to talk in public was going up, and I had no idea that was a part of learning the magic. I just was really good at fooling people, I thought. But they kept saying, hey, can you fool my friend? Can you show them that thing? Oh my God, you got to see him. He's amazing. And I never thought about myself, at least not at 15, 16, as somebody who could be amazing or wonderful. I was just like, hey, I'm showing you something cool that I learned,
Yeah.
And from there, I saw potential in not the actual money, but a living. Because at a young age, again, not realizing what I know now, I was taught to work hard, make your money, pay your part. You know what I mean? So saying, hey, I'm at a grocery store making $5 an hour, $4 an hour. That equals up to maybe $100 at the end of the week. In one show, I can make that same amount. In 2 shows, I make twice that amount, which is 2 weeks of my job for only 2 hours of work. I'm going to do magic. So that's what got me pushed to really focus on staying with shows. I was able to make a living at a young age. I was able to pay my own phone bill, and it was bad, dude. At the time, this is when nights and weekends was a thing. You can only call your phone because you had free nights and weekends. Other times you had to pay. Dude, I was an AOL beast. I used to call Texas. I called Florida. I called whoever I knew. Hey, I'll pay the bill. $1,000 bill every month. It was bad, but I was like, I'm making money. I paid for it, dude. I think I may have, enough for a house. I've paid a phone bill enough to buy a house, all because of naivety and just being young and able to make money doing that.
Yeah, I probably have too.
I mean, I'm sure there was other bad habits, but for another.
So you kind of touched on some highlights in your career and your life getting happen, but what if there is one, what is the biggest highlight of your magic career?
What I had to think long and hard about that, and I think it would have to be performing at Coney Island with Gary, with you guys, with everyone. Again, going back to my childhood, with my father, I used to go almost every weekend. That was our thing. He would close the video store depending on what he made that day, and we would go to El Dorado, the bumper cars and everything. We'd get there around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and everything was open, lights are on, music is playing, and it was just like, whoa, for an 8, 9-year-old. You know what I mean? It's like Disneyland, only cheaper. But my father brought us there every weekend, and we saw something there called the Freak Show, sideshow. My apologies, the sideshow. But it had a lady with a snake, a guy with fire, somebody swallowing swords, and it was just like, oh, cool. I always used to think every time we go back, I want to see that. I just want to pass by it to see how cool that looks. Who's there? What's going on today? Is there a live weird crocodile baby inside of a bucket today? I don't know. And Gary called up one day. He's like, hey, we're going to be doing Coney Island. I was like, I'm in. Whatever it is, I'm in. I don't care if I'm doing the stage, sweeping. I don't care. I'm in. That, I would say that was one of my highlights, that I was able to perform in Coney Island, one of the places that I grew up in. I always looked, to be like a dreamland.
Yeah.
And a little secret, that's where I met Lavinia. Well, first time I saw Lavinia, my wife.
Yeah, your beautiful wife. Yes.
I wanted to try to keep it on magic, but I guess that's a form of magic too.
Oh, one of the highest forms. I think love is one of the highest forms of magic. So
definitely.
Bless you. I feel very honored to have been at your wedding.
Dude, pleasure was all ours, man. To have close friends in these times, celebrate something that not even a pandemic could stop.
Yeah.
Conquers all.
There you go. Now, going to the other extreme, is there I kind of wrote it a little differently. Is there the opposite of a highlight in your totally
a low point?
Yeah, well, not really a low point, but let's say if you were on stage and something screwed up.
Okay.
I don't even know you.
I never really brought this up with many people because I was embarrassed about it. But everybody knows linking hangers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, linking rings. I do again for my characters, linking hangers. It kind of represents my upbringing and all that. So everybody knows what a hanger looks like. It's kind of oblong with a little hook. All right. So I'm doing a birthday party, and that's one of the tricks that I do because it's a great interactive trick. And I invite one of the children up. I'm doing the trick, and I always make sure when I'm doing it, I'm wild, I'm all over the place, but I try to keep the child over there so that nothing hits, nothing accidentally. This kid is so excited. He keeps walking up to me, keeps getting close, and as I'm hooking one hook, one's already hooked here. Okay, I'm hooking this. I don't see this one swinging. The kid is right by my elbow. The hook swings right here. And as I go, look, it catches his eye. But luckily, it didn't pierce skin. It was just enough for him to go, ah! But you see a mark. You see the mark, okay? I felt so horrible, but as a performer, if he's not crying or dying, you keep going, right? The rest of the show, the kid's like, yeah, and just holding his face. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope he's okay. There's no blood. I spoke to the mom afterwards. She was okay with everything. She understands her kid was a little hyper. Everything worked out. But I apologized profusely. I gave cotton candy on me, I think, to apologize for that. And I go, the kid was so excited. He wanted me for his birthday party now because he was just a guest at this one. I go to his birthday party, and guess what happens again?
Oh no.
Same kid, same eyeball about 2 months later, dude. I think that was the most, because then the mom at that point was like, no, you're out for my kid. I'm like, no, he just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. I try not to be mean. I try to make everything work, but oh my God, for that to happen, it was like, I think that was the lowest or most scariest part because, oh my God, dude, you're hurting a kid that's not yours. And the mom, you could see in the back, like, ugh. Yeah, I think that would be one of the lowest points if I would have.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. I think you said the more that I keep forgetting is embarrassing moment. But because I got plenty. I got plenty.
An internal personal moment. I've had one of those. There was a point around 18 or 19 years old. Red Bull just kind of came out, and I was like, I was chugging them like they were nothing. And I remember doing a show where there was no microphone. I was in a gymnasium, about 100 kids, and you know how you have to project, hey, ladies, and it comes from here. Out of nowhere, I started feeling just my heart just going. And as I'm at a high point where you try to reach the climax, you react for everybody else to react. I remember everything just going white, and I couldn't hear or see anything for about 5-10 seconds, and then I came back, and everyone was already clapping, and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but just go with it. Nobody knew that I had that moment, but that I just remembered that was one of the scariest moments for me. After that, I had no more energy drinks, no more like none of that. I had to cut down profusely. I now, if I drink them, it's only for like emergency purposes. You're up 3 days in a row, you got to do something. That would be the only time I take it. Other than that, I try not to.
Yeah.
So, that's a private scary moment. What was yours?
Ooh, I've had so many. Probably the most embarrassing thing for me was when it was my first full mentalism show. And I had about maybe 100, 150 people in the audience. A lot of them were people I knew, but it was my first paid gig as a mentalist, and I didn't know so much about the ethics of being a good mentalist and not like scam people.
Yeah.
But part of my act was I think it was probably modern language, but you have a stack of envelopes and you hand them out to different people, and they write something and put it in the envelope and seal it and give it back. So I have a whole stack of envelopes, and I get someone, I put it on my head, and I go, somebody was asking about their father. Somebody wants to know about their father. Please stand. And if the young lady stands up and goes, "Yeah, I want to know if he's okay." So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, so does this mean he's dead, or does it mean that it's grave? And I'm trying to figure this out, like in my head, and not make it look like I'm trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with the that he's dead because that's what it seemed to me. And from what I can tell, wherever he is, he's comfortable and peaceful. And the one who started crying was supposed to be confused, right? So part of it was like, yes, I got it. But most of it was like, oh man, I really screwed this up. But I was young, and I'm able to admit that I was really foolish and made a very big mistake which I've done since.
I feel you, man. That's how we all learn, man. We got to go through it. I'm one that somebody can tell me something 1,000 times, but I have to do it once and mess up in order for me to to learn my lesson.
Yeah. So I've been asking this of a few of my guests. We've all been dealing with COVID and being quarantined. How has that affected you as a performer? As a
COVID with the shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, first of all, they're all gone. The way we used to book shows, I worked a lot through agents, so I rarely get any of my personal calls. But once March came around and things started going on lockdown, and the whole world just said, "Yeah, we're closed." All my parties, all Lavinia's parties, I think yours, all magicians' parties were done. And I was in shock for about 2 weeks trying to figure out, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, this is what I do. I had to figure out how to pivot. And I froze, like I said, for 2 weeks. I didn't know what I saw my wife, Lavinia at the time, my fiance girlfriend. She just got up like nothing, just started making balloons, and she realized there might be some people stuck at home with kids, some people stuck at home that just can't leave, like grandparents and such. She started just making deliveries to be kind, and the people who received it were amazed and so happy to receive it. They posted about it, and then other people started saying, "Hey, can you do that for us? How much?" So that was kind of like a pivot that happened, and I'm watching her do it, and I just kind of ran with her. I started doing the deliveries, try to help her as much as I could with blowing up balloons, but she's very independent, as you know. Very independent. So she very politely but forward, "Hey, you should figure something out. Go do something." I was like, you know what? I will. And I'm like, what do I do? I saw Greenbaum, Harrison Greenbaum, thank you. And he started doing the talk show thing with other magicians, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea, but how do you do something like that? I know that you can go live on Facebook. I had no idea about Zoom at the time. I had no idea about Ecamm or StreamYard or any of these things, but I did have a technology base about me. Like I said, my father ran a video store, but he also used to fix computers, VCRs, and electronics in general. I grew up around that. He used to have me helping him out in the back, putting stuff together, taking them apart, just to kind of, one, keep me busy, being that I'm at the store with him, and two, I never thought that I would need any of that stuff. But once all this started to happen, I had to rig up my old computers. Some of them worked, good screen, bad laptop, and vice versa. I had to take them apart first of all, Frankenstein them, put it together to make a decent computer. Then I started learning about how to stream, because there is a method to it. You can't just plug and play. Although, yes, there are programs for that, but you got to pay. Pandemic, no shows, no money. You got to work with what you got. So, luckily, aside from knowing the electronics, I also I'm a DJ as well. I do that on the side. I got into that again, going through the other parties. So I had wires for sound. I had wires for some TV stuff. I used what I had and I figured it out. But then there's this thing called lag that popped up. Whenever I talked, it looked like an old dubbed movie where I would say something, but 2 seconds later, you see my lips move and nothing synced. Another problem I came into. So for the first month and a half of COVID, I was really just, again, my ADHD, some people see it as a hindrance. This became a superpower for me because I got so involved with learning how to do this. I learned everything I could about Zoom, everything I could about the cameras that can be used, the wiring that could be used. And then I started to think, wait, not everybody knows how to do this. Let me call up my friends and see if, hey, they'd be interested in doing stuff like that. That's when I got in contact with Gary, with you guys, with George and everyone. Like, hey, who's willing to try this? Who knows what? And that's when the idea came about of doing our Saturday shows. And that was the pivot right there. I opened it up thinking, all right, we have something for them to do. There you go. Virtual interactive theater. So it's not only magic. Sometimes we have comedians, entertainers, different types. But from this, it didn't turn into the show I expected it to be. It wasn't the theater. It turned into actually an open mic for me. And then for all of you guys as well. It's a place for us to try this platform. It's how do we perform for this? How do we connect with them? That's how I started to use this. How do we talk to them and make them feel connected? When I finally started doing the streaming part with all this, another gentleman that I saw kind of pioneer all this was Michael Kent. Right. So with Michael Kent, I never really reached out to him to have a full conversation. There's always in chat here and there. Never really met him in person. For those who don't know, Michael Kent is a college performer, I believe somewhere in the Midwest or Middle America. And he was another one, just really gracious with his advice. I called him up. How are you streaming? How are you doing your shows? He broke it down for me and then for everybody else as well. Did it live. He used to use YouTube, and I think he may have pivoted from there to Ecamm or something else. But then I started thinking, oh my God, he's streaming. Don't gamers do something like this? A lot of gamers do streaming. And then immediately Xavier Spade popped in my head. He's very good with all this stuff. I remember he was doing this well before anybody even needed it or knew about it. So I reached out to him, talked to him about a couple of things, and he's another one, very gracious with his information. If you can, go check out his YouTube. He has wonderful stuff that he's coming out with now, aside from his gaming and magic stuff. He's showing basics and details that you would need to stream. So if you guys don't learn through us, go check out Xavier Spade. Great advice. And then the pivot was people started doing shows, private shows. Hey, same idea as Lavinia with the balloons. Hey, I saw what you're doing. Can you do that for us and just our family? So I realized, okay, there's a potential for that. Yeah. And long story short, we're here now. It's a combination of live social distance shows and Zoom shows. And that's where it's been. It's nowhere near the magnitude of what we used to have. I used to do 3 to 5 shows on a Saturday, 2 to 4 on a Sunday. During the week, I would have 3 to 5 shows. Now I'm lucky if I have 3 to 5 shows in the whole month, man. But we're working with it. We're sticking with it. And the only thing that's keeping me going is it's not just me. You know what I mean? It's the whole world. It's not just me. So I hope that answered, dude. I was trying to answer as best as I could.
Wow, that was great. So do you like performing virtually?
There are some goods and some bads from it. I mean, virtually one, hey, you're at home. There's no loading, there's no unloading, there's no traveling. It's bang, do the show, next show, do the show, next show. I miss that. I'll be honest. That's one thing I never realized that was a big part of my life was travel. A lot of the time that I spent thinking about structuring my show, how to respond to people, I would do that in my car, driving to a gig, from a gig. I would be listening to magic podcasts, practicing. In effect, if I can do it one-handed, that's how I learned, by driving, because I have to focus on the road. I can't look. These are ways that I used to practice. Now I have no time to practice any of that. I've been focused on just practicing the electronic part of this, which I think I went off topic.
Hey, this is it's a conversation, but this is more about learning about you. So,
dude, it's about us. Because I wouldn't be doing this without you. So bless.
I mean, people are slowly learning about me every week, and one day somebody's going to interview me on it. So,
all right.
If you Brandon from episode 3 say he would come back and interview me, but that probably won't be for another couple of months. Cool. I have a lot of other really good people coming out. So,
yeah, delve deep into the indestructible Tommy Burnett. If you want to know why he's indestructible, stick around for that show. You'll find out then.
Well,
Ella, we love Ella. Oh my God, Ella's been such a big part of this, man. She's been there from like almost day one. She's helped push the show. I think I met her through Rogue U, and I think Miles has done her show as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and Doc has done her show too. That's how I met her, was through Doc.
We love you, Ella. I just want you to know that we love you. Yeah. One thing about our show is that we try to help those who do not know how to stream. Because I know people sometimes watch the show. For the first couple of shows, I used to let them remark, but some people were being really mean with their remarks. Like, yeah, the show was good. I've seen better. Like, I hear it in the background. Like, why would you say that? But whatever. So I think we pivoted with that as well and started doing our Wednesday meets for those who didn't before every Saturday show, so that we don't perform the same thing. We meet every Wednesday. And we make sure that, one, you know what you're doing with your lighting, your tech, and we discuss what kind of tricks might work for you and your character. And then from there, we do our Saturday show. We arrive an hour early in case of any kinks or any restructuring of orders because somebody's internet goes out or whatever. So that, I think that would be the only downfall to this stuff is, hey, man, if you don't have good reception, this is not a good platform. No matter how good your show is, no matter how good anything is, if that lag happens and you stop, then you lose the show. So, are we gonna battle now? Yeah, dude. I don't think I know anything else to say about that stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. What is okay? So anyone who knows me knows that I'm really into trying to make a connection with my audience, and not just like a connection, but try and make as deep a connection as possible. I don't always hit the mark, but as I try to make that a goal of when I perform. So Do you have any methods or techniques on how to make a deeper connection?
In general or through this?
Well, through magic.
Well, with magic in general, I feel the connection is already there with mystery. Like all right. This is a really deep and intense question, especially for those who are into magic and the psychology. I'll start with where we're at now, and then I'll head backwards. So, with virtual stuff, I believe that is one of the most difficult things you can perform magic on and try to connect. I found that out because it's not the same as performing on the street and having people stop and watch you. You're not really talking to them. They're not really talking to you. But with this, it has a different it's a different monster. Like it's a television. It's a television. So people don't treat it like another person. They treat it like a television. I don't like what I see. I change the channel. And with the technology now that kids have it in their phones and everything else that's all around them, the attention span is 5, 6, 7 seconds at most. Look at those vines. How long are they? That's the attention span of somebody. So I realized you need to capture their attention within the first 5 seconds. That'll buy you another 5 seconds, which will buy you 30 seconds and so on. So I have to find key points to either make something visually interesting, verbally interesting, or something that they can connect with. The easiest thing to do, which I actually took cue from you, was say their name and talk to them. Forget the magic trick. Talk to them. And in all honesty, being on stage, being a gig performer, somebody who has to go from gig to gig to gig to gig, I have to do my show, break down, leave, go, set up, do my show, break down, leave. There's no actual chance to connect. So I have to strategically do it within jokes and patter and all that good stuff. I learned how to connect with somebody within 5 minutes. Doing it here was a really big learning curve. I knew I could perform well. I knew I could do this, but the connection part, I was missing. And I felt it because I'm watching people drift, turn away, start texting. And although I'm looking at the screen and trying to perform, I can see all of them slowly losing attention. So watching you, how you did it was you would be performing with one person, mention somebody else's name, do a callback to a trick from somebody else. But because you said their name or you're looking at them here and saying their name, even though they're not on camera with you, you connect that way. It's a simple conversation. Like it really is that simple. Have a conversation with the person. And then the trick is secondary. Even your personality from that point should be secondary. It's all about the connection.
Yeah.
So that was a very difficult thing with virtually. Now in person, very easy to connect with people. At least for me, it was. Again, growing up in my father's shop, I had a lot of people that would come in and out the store. I was able to, oh my God, I'm blanking on the word. I was able to create that kind of banter back and forth with people from an early age. So I understood the social dynamics. There you go. From a young age. And then going into shows, I was able to take that knowledge into how to talk to somebody and perform the show. But then those who are magicians will understand this, or performers in general. You start falling into that trap of having your script already embedded in here, so you kind of just spit it out and regurgitate it every time. I realized, again, I was losing their attention. The best way to connect with them was conversation. Make a joke. Let them say something. Funny or not, it's still, you're trying to connect with them because the magic doesn't happen out here. I found the magic happens in here. The reaction shows here. So the show's not about me, it's about them. So the easiest way to make that connection is, hey, what's your name? Would you like to help me? Can I show you something? Not, hey, you get over here. All right, you're going to do this, this, and that. And all right, now go away. Ta-da! I try to do my best not to be that performer, but I believe when we all first started, we had that portion about us. yeah, if you ever have a chance to read about how to connect with people, learn conversation.
Yeah.
Bless you, sir.
No, sorry. I got something stuck in my throat.
I didn't know I was that compelling, bro. Like, I appreciate that.
Very moving. Very moving.
Just as long as it's not about.
Actually, you are a very compelling person. You're always busy. You're always coming up with new opportunities for yourself.
That's the ADHD, bro. I lose attention span, so I go to something else.
And whatever it is, if it works, you know. And that's one thing I love about you is that you you have that capacity to move on to something else without stumbling too much. Whereas for me, you know, for years I had a hard time connecting in a life situation because I always felt more comfortable with either in front or behind the camera because I felt more like I was more in control that way. But in the last 10 years or so, really I feel like I've blossomed as far as like making that connection with people. And even here, I'm trying to look at you in the camera and not look down here. And
I feel you.
it's hard because I see you.
Yeah, we're used to eye contact, so you look at the eyes instead of the camera eye. Yeah, I feel you.
You know, it would be probably easier if I got myself a camera so I could sort of so, yeah, but you know, and for me, I think it's important. It doesn't have to be all the time because if I look at the camera the whole time, I can't see what's going on over here.
Right. Somebody else is commenting or
Comments and stuff. But I think it's important every now and then to look at you. You know.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Because one of my pet peeves, and please cut me off if I go on so long. But one of my pet peeves is that currently musicians are doing a lot of videos on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and they're like, I don't have anything. Let's say I'm going to do something with a $10 bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sick, but let's say I am. Instead of looking at the bill, you're going to look at this.
Yeah.
because I want to make sure it's doing it right. Instead of practicing beforehand, I'm doing it, and so this way you can, okay.
Right. I mean, I think that a lot of magicians struggle because of when they look at the mirror. That's the mirror concept right there. You know what I mean? I think the other issue is like the moment of the behind the scenes effect, the blink. Like wait,
Exactly, yeah.
so that you know, yeah, that's where the practice comes in. Yeah. I can understand learning to do it. That's why I said when I'm driving, a trick like that, I would try to do it in my hands while keeping forward because you're supposed to be looking forward. You have no choice. Now, learn it then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not saying drive and do bad things. What I am saying is that's a potential if you know what you're doing. I'm not stating everybody go out and drive and do other shit to keep your other stuff. My bad.
Kids, if you're watching.
Yeah, we were talking about tea. It was sugar honey flavored iced tea.
Right. So, kids, if you're watching, shit is a bad word.
Yes.
So another question I've been posing is, and I was sort of corrected by my mentor a couple of who was on the show. I brought up a question of framing and effect, and very simply, he said, it's not framing, it's labeling. It's a difference. We call it
what? Not framing, but what?
Labeling.
Labeling. Okay.
Yeah. Because framing.
How you present it.
Yeah, it's just something to make the most inside the frame look better.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas labeling, you are really creating the
Do you mean like saying, "Hey, I'm going to do the egg bag next. Let me show you the egg bag."
right.
Which to us we know it as egg bag, but to them it's like, okay.
Right. Yeah. So,
or let me show you the disappearing shoe. Surprise, the shoe disappeared. But
right.
they know it's going to be the disappearing shoe, so there's no. Is that what you mean, like the labeling, or?
Sort of. It's like I mean, I'll read the question the way I have it written. Explain how framing and effect can make or break the audience's reaction to that effect. Well,
okay, so from my understanding of the question, again, if I say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you a huge surprise magic trick, the levitating lady. You might not know what's going to happen, but I just said the levitating lady, so there's no surprise, there's no buildup, there's no drama that you can add to that. So if that's what you mean by labeling and the reaction of the audience, it can dwindle it. So you got to remember, although you being a magician, you buy or learn the effect by a certain name, you still have to respond to it like a layman would. For example, a silk is not a silk, it is a handkerchief or a napkin. It is not a silk because they don't call it a silk. A sponge bunny. Hey, let me show you this sponge bunny. No, it's just a little bunny, because if they tell them it's a sponge, oh, sponge is squeeze. Now, I'm not saying that everyone catches on to that type of stuff, but it can ruin an effect for people if you start naming them the way they were sold or taught to you. So that is my humble opinion.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Thank you.
Wow. You know, okay, so a good example for me is when you do the macro yeah. You have a great presentation for that. And you do it with sleight of hand, and I do it with any cards. And the first time I saw you do that live, I think I might have been the time we first talked. I was like, "Hey man, I made one of those," and you were like, "Really?" And you waited. It was so cool. You waited like 5 minutes for me to and then you were like, actually, you're gonna give it. And I was like, what?
Yeah, you want to laugh? I was about to say, yeah, there was some guy a long time ago that asked me about it, and I said, and I completely forgot it was you, dude. Like, yo, I was about to tell you that same story. But I remember that, and I felt honored that you thought it was the gimmick version, which I believe there are gimmick versions, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was a gimmick version of that. But I've never seen it, so I didn't knock you down at that point because I didn't know there maybe was one.
Yeah. So far, as far as I know, I'm the only one that has a gimmick version. But yeah, and you do it so flawlessly.
That wasn't for you, my wife.
Hi, Lavinia.
Hey, Tommy.
You know what? One for you too, Tommy.
Oh, I'll save that for later.
That was slick.
Speaking of Lavinia, you and your lovely wife are about to have a show. We'll go.
We're going to be doing a fundraiser in a week for Visions, Foundation Visions, and it is for the blind and visually impaired, as well as their families. They're raising funds throughout this whole pandemic. They've been having different entertainers go live on their feed. And we're going to go live on January 31st on my Facebook feed, which is the same one that we do for Saturday shows. I believe that's Magician Omar Olusion. You can find that at omarolusion.nyc or just follow us on Facebook. Lavinia will be posting it up as well. And I'm actually kind of nervous because I'm going to be performing magic for blind patrons and matrons on Zoom. So I'm like, so nervous about it, but I know it will be successful and fun had by all. So I look forward to seeing a lot of you and sensing the magic together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. To it.
Thank you, brother.
I'll be there to you one. Oh yeah. So if a young boy or a young girl came up to you and said, "Hey, I want to do what you do for a living," what's one piece of advice that you would give them?
If you'd like to do what I do for a living, I'm just letting you know that we got a lot of research involved. Okay. And you may show interest now, but you might not show interest later. And that's okay. Whatever you learn from magic and sleight of hand, you can take and apply it to many other aspects of your life. So don't ever feel obligated to continue with magic or be forced to stay with it because that's all you know. You'll be surprised what else you can learn through magic and what else you can apply it. So if you're going to be a magician or a performer, understand there will be some struggles like everything else. So with that said, I wish you luck, read a lot of books, and save.
I like it.
I hope that was very PC.
That was great. So I would like to see you do some magic for us. Would you be willing to perform a little bit?
Oh, sure. Time for the monkey to dance. Let's do it. I'm hyped. I mean, it's really difficult to perform magic on this platform for the simple fact that people think we use the camera. Okay. Like, for example, if I were to take this and shove it up my nose, everybody knows that one because I might be using camera angles or something, but I don't want you to feel like I'm doing that. For example, this item right over here, if I place this inside, you can clearly see it going into the stick. But if I push it all the way through the stick, it kind of looks like it's shrinking, doesn't it? Now, you might not see that illusion because you can see it's obviously going off the side of the screen. But I don't want you to feel like I'm cheating anyway. You can see it going through there. But to explain what I mean, when I'm pushing it through and people think that it's an actual camera trick, it's not. If you just give it a second, look, as I push it through, you can actually see it shrinking itself inside. It's not a camera trick. Look, it actually does go through. And I can even pull it all the way back out. And look at that. There is potential magic do on here, but it's not a camera trick. I can promise you that. Okay. What I will try to do is a trick to the camera, but I would need your help, Tommy. Okay. Now, it's going to be a card trick, but I do need a little bit of practice in order for this to happen. Okay. I want to make sure that you're focused. I'm going to switch cameras for just a second, Tommy. So,
okay.
Did that work?
No, it's all on your face.
Oh, my apologies. Give me a second. And this is why we hold practice. Because now
Yeah.
I just mentally figured out what the potential issue was, and I found it.
Oh.
So I had accidentally turned the camera off to save battery, but I'd rather that than have it turn off accidentally. Tommy, I have a pack of cards here, and I would like to try this out on you. This is going to be my attempt, okay, at doing a card trick. Now, you yourself being a mentalist, I'm sure probably started out with card tricks, and you know that you can actually practice cards so well to the point where you can actually go by feel when you cut the cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to feel for right now are some of the best cards you could possibly find in a pack of cards, which obviously you can see are the aces. Now, this is going to be a little tough to do because it's especially through the camera. I want you to see that it's a regular pack of cards. I'm going to shuffle them up, and I want to try to do this with feeling with you, Tommy.
Okay.
Now, the way this is going to work, you know, with the different shapes of the cards and the different colors of the cards, right? Black and red. But we're not going to go with that. We're going to go with a different type of feel. For the black cards, I would like you to imagine them as though it's a cool breeze underneath a tree. You ever sit down under a tree, take a little nap, enjoy a picnic, but you feel that nice little breeze against you? That'll be what this color represents. And for the reds, we're going to picture it as the sun, a warmth of sorts, okay? You ever go outside when you just step out and you feel the nice warm sun against you? We're going to go with that feeling. And I'm going to try to do it without you even seeing the cards, without me seeing the cards, okay? But I don't want you to feel like I'm cheating anyway. You can see that they're all shuffled. Black and red are all mixed together. There's no actual pattern anyway. I'm going to pull cards out separately, one at a time for you, Tommy, okay? In little piles. And I want you, using your senses, to tell me if it feels hot or cold to you. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to take a few here. Tommy, I'm going to hold out one card in front of me. Do you believe that that feels warm or cool to you?
Cool.
Cool. I'm going to do the same thing again with the next card. Warm or cool?
Warm.
Warm. Now, we're going to keep going that way for just a little bit for you to understand the flow of this. We're going to go faster and faster. Ready? This is hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot. This is hot or cold?
Cold.
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 Cold. Mm-hmm.
Hot.
Hot. Uh-huh.
Hot.
This is hot.
Yep. Hot.
Hot and
cold.
cold. Now, hot and cold is one way to feel things. There can be emotions involved as well. You feel warm a lot of the times when you're happy, right? You feel cool or a little chilly sometimes when you're not as happy, when you're in somewhat of a bad flow of the day. You step up, you stump your toe, feel a little cold, feel that chill. So I don't want you to feel as though I'm dealing from a specific part. So can you do me a favor? Say stop anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Well, before I get to the end, ready?
So I can see.
Oh yeah, well I know there's a delay, so I'll turn this way. Ready? And say stop.
Stop.
Right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the cards there, and we're gonna deal from there. So this way, there's no specific area that I asked you to deal from. We're gonna go faster this time. Ready, Tommy? I'm gonna go one at a time. You tell me if it feels happy or unhappy. Happy being warm, unhappy being cool. Ready?
Happy.
Happy.
Unhappy.
Happy.
No, unhappy for that one.
Unhappy.
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 Happy.
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 Unhappy. Unhappy. And happy.
happy. Now we have a few more to go. There's 5. So what do you think the next 5 would be?
Happy, happy, well, for happy, happy, unhappy, unhappy.
Now,
Yeah.
being that we're through the screen, it's a little tough to actually have you examine everything, but you can see that I honestly placed them down where you told me to place them down. You had the feelings yourselves. You saw the card shuffled, but even through the screen, it would be strange to get one of them correct, to have a black with black, right? Now, if you did 2 of them, that could be a coincidence. Who knows? 3 of them, people would say that's it could be luck. But you did 4. You did 5. You did all of the blacks. You did all of the reds. All of them linked together. Oh, wait. That's all right. 1, 2 did not go well, but look at that. Red with reds, black with black. All done by you, Tommy.
Wow. Good job. So, no, thank you. So that means I messed up.
Not at all, dude. I mean, considering it's only 2, you have good feeling, man. But hey, it's the lag on the screen.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you, Omar. Thank you so much for being here. So, thank you for being my friend. It really means so much having you in my life, you and your wife and kids in my life. We'll say goodbye, but if you just hang out for a minute so we can talk after the show.
Sounds
cool. So thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Omar Olusion. Please go see on the 31st of January at the Visions Family Master Show at Visions. You can check him out on OmarOlusion.nyc. And this guy is, I can't say he's the best because I'm the best, but
I'm only as good as the company I keep, brother.
No, I love Omar, and we have a comment before we go. Don't know who this is, but somebody said, great episode. Whoever that is, your name is showing up on it. So probably somebody we know. But
they didn't read your pre-show sheet.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Omar Olusion, a very great musician, as you can tell. And my guest next week is David First. Let me get rid of these banners here. How do we get? Oh, there we go. David First often goes by the number of the first name in. He also has performed on my show along with me and others. So he will be here next week, and I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to close the show with a quote, if I can find it, from one of my early inspirations, Doug Henning, and the quote is, "The art of a magician is to create wonder. If we all live with a sense of wonder, our lives become filled with joy." So I hope that means something to you. It means a lot to me. Always remember that magic is always inside of you. And until then, I will see you next week.